Welcome back to Financial Independence 101. This is Mike. We all had a sad day on Saturday where we saw for the first time in 40 years an assassination attempt on a president, ex-president, presidential candidate in any way, shape, or form that actually wasn't taken down. This is insane, and there's a whole lot to this, but I'm going to talk about a few things. First of all, I am going to discuss the timeline that this happened. I'm going to discuss the motives that this young man that wasted his life for absolutely no reason, why he could have done this. I'm going to discuss the role that the media played, the role that the courts played, the role that Democrat politicians played, all of this, and why all of this rhetoric needs to stop now. Also going to quickly touch on the response from the sniper team, the Secret Service. A lot of people think it's a failure. I'm going to explain my viewpoint from what I've seen, and I've watched a lot of different angles of this. We'll talk about this and more coming up. Let's quickly start with this timeline of what happened with these series of events. This guy here claims that he saw this 20-year-old kid with a rifle, with a gun, climbing up the wall, going to the top of the roof to shoot maybe, but he's got a gun, got the police over there, and the truth be told that he felt a little like the police weren't paying attention, they didn't really understand what's going on, and the reality of it is from the angle that they're looking, they didn't see him up there, and there's a lot of videos proving that, but there's one police officer that did go up there, they did crawl up to the top. Obviously, there's no pictures or footage. There is some footage that I don't have of him while he was still alive, but this is the dead corpse. And with this kid was positioned to shoot Trump. And a police officer went up there, probably made some noise, something happened. Allegedly, he turned the gun on the police officer, and the police officer let go and dropped down so that he didn't get shot. And then the shooter turned around and started shooting at Trump. Had he not been there, the police officer not been there to distract him, this could have been a lot worse. Now remember, from the time that first guy started talking about it, 3 minutes went by before the shooting. And the snipers that were on the roof, the Secret Service, were set up and they saw him up there and tried to make sense of things. And as soon as the shooter opened fire, they took him out. The shooter got 3 or 4 shots off. The other 3 or 4 shots were from them. Now, here's the thing. That kid was not at all a professional. And the words come out that he was not good at shooting a rifle. This is not a rifle. It's a AR-47 or whatever style rifle. The difference between a pro and that kid is the kid did miss his target, but these guys did not. Now I'm going to roll the tape. I'm going to roll exactly what happened. You're going to watch a little bit of footage of him talking right up to when it happens. But if Trump didn't turn his head to the right to talk about what he was talking about and showing a graph, if the police officer did not distract the kid, all these different ifs, Trump wouldn't be here with us today.
And that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that's sad, take a look at what happened.
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you.
Ready?
Move.
Up.
Move. Go. Hawkeye's here. You ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, where former President Trump was speaking on the stage. There has been some kind of disturbance that clearly sets law enforcement and Secret Service into motion, immediately jumping around the former president in a protective mode. The crowd has been screaming. They are standing by. You can hear some voices there saying, "Are we ready to go? Are we ready to go?" We are looking at President Trump. This does not look good. I'm going to be honest with you. From what we can see right here, it looks like they are attempting to move him out, that he may have been injured. He is holding up his arm. He is pumping his fist, but clearly Secret Service wants to get him out of this situation.
All right, so notice that Trump is defiant. He had that fist in the air. Now, there's a couple of things to say about this. First of all, Secret Service wanted to keep him down in case it was a second shooter, because you don't know, a third shooter. I mean, we know there's the whole JFK, grassy knoll, second shooter kind of thing going on because of the way the head went in two different directions with violently. So they assumed two shooters, but they only got the Oswald. But with that, they don't know. But they did get to clear that that shooter was eliminated, and that's when they started to move him. And Trump heard that. They heard that the shooter's down, so he's defiantly putting his fist up, and he's doing it for the crowd. He's doing it for the people that are there. You know, people call Trump selfish, and he's a selfish man. Is it a selfish person to say, I understand all you are here for me, and I'm going to get hauled away and get my ear fixed, while you're there? I'm doing the fist. I'm showing you guys I'm still here for you because y'all are here for me. I mean, that's not a sign of a selfish person. And I got to say that this is going to go down in history as one of the worst yet greatest moments. The resolve that Donald Trump showed. He's going to win the election hands down. It's a landslide at this point. And this kid sacrificed himself thinking he's going to take out Trump. Really, he solidified the election. This kid actually solidified the fact Trump will definitely 100% be our next president. What's the role the media played in all of this? How much of this is their fault? A lot. For 8 straight years, every media outlet, 90% of them, aside from a few that did not do this, villainized Donald Trump since 2015, 2016. 15, it was light. In 16, it got really harsh with the lie of Russian collusion. Every single person uttering it knew it was Russian collusion, but yet we still had to hear it over and over 48 million times. It was just over and over the lie of Russian collusion. And then it came out with Mueller report, that it was all lies. And everyone knew it was all lies. Nobody was surprised. It just went on. It got 40 seconds worth. The villainizing of Donald Trump continually by the media, it was unacceptable, still unacceptable. As of today, that must end. You can't talk about Donald Trump and use negative descriptive terms and then talk about Biden and everything's peachy keen, which they turned on Biden for 10 days. Now they're back in Biden's pocket. It's so ridiculous. It's so fake. It's so obtuse. Just stop with the negative terms. Stop with the Trump derangement syndrome that you're creating for America. It is dangerous. Very, very dangerous. It must end now. And people like myself and every other American citizen must call it out. All right, so what role did Democrat politicians play in all of this? Well, for 8 years, they've been making up lies. They have been villainizing Donald Trump, and they've been saying stuff. And, you know, it's a cross between some of the politicians and some of the media outlets just taking it upon themselves to make things up like Trump's a dictator, and he's going to lock certain minority groups up. That's bull crap. That's crap. Nowhere is he going to just do a 180 and something he's never done in his first term. All of a sudden, he's going to do it. How do they know that? Because they made it up. They sat and looked at a blank corner and thought, what can I make up? Hey, that sounds really bad. Let's say it. There's no proof, no evidence, nothing. They just make up whatever they want. The thing about American politics is you can make up whatever heinous lie you want, but if it's in a political environment, you can't be prosecuted for lying. You can't. That's why nobody is sitting in prison for the Russian collusion lie. But if that was an American citizen making it up against another American citizen, it's slander, it's libel, and you can go to prison. You can lose everything for slander and libel. I'm not calling out any individual here. I'm just saying this is the political system itself, and that must stop. That must end. And, Biden did come out and he said, we're going to lower the temperature of this political environment. He's saying that. Those are words. Well, we're going to hold him to that as American citizens. We're going to hold every politician to that. What role did the court system play? The reality of the fact is that there were thousands of hours, billions of dollars wasted on digging into Donald Trump's life. If you had spent that much time on every single Democrat politician, you'd have gotten at least 1,000 times more. Seriously. So why is it that they're going after him? It's political. 100%. And if you were to say every American citizen has made a mistake here and there, for New York to change their laws, the statute of limitation on rape and several other laws, if Donald Trump were to have jaywalked in New York, it would have been a felony. He's called a felon. He's not a felon. He was tried and convicted on a minor misdemeanor that is now turned into a felony just in his case. So it's ridiculous the way the judicial system has been turned into a weapon. And no, those are some other people's words, but it still feels like that to me. That was my words when I watched it. But I hear other people say it, I'm like, they're actually correct. The judicial system has villainized him, and then as soon as that fake, false verdict, and when all this comes out, it's all going to get repealed anyway. Let's just not even talk about it anymore. It's all going to get repealed because it's all fake. It's all a waste of time, a waste of money. It's a mockery of the judicial system, especially in New York. But when you look at this, the media feeds off this. They were instructed to say felon as many times as they could. I'm sorry, you only said Trump's a felon 49 times today. The minimum quota is 88. So you must get with that or you're not going to have a job. That's how media is in America. All right, so we have motives on this kid. Nobody knows, so everything I'm saying is an assumption. But I'm going to throw the facts out. They interviewed some of the people that lived around, that went to school with him, that knew him. They said he was kind of an outcast, that he was there was something strange about him. But they did say that he was bullied. He is a product of an environment of kids getting bullied, the way the world is. I mean, I was bullied to a point, but I didn't feel like I should go shoot somebody. I understand that sucks. My kids get bullied and they come home to their dad and I give them advice on how to handle it. That's the reality of the world. What failed this kid? This kid was failed. He was failed by society. Understood. He felt bad, felt like an outcast. Why did he have to go do this? Well, since this kid was 12 years old, he has been influenced by the media saying Trump bad. Every single time he watched the news or his parents watched the news, he's trying to get himself something to eat in the kitchen. He overhears the news, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. I don't think that when he was 12 years old, he was looking into politics and saying, who's horrible that I want to go after? No, he's a product of all of this negativity that's going on. Politicians creating this stuff. You are molding the future, and they are doing it on purpose, by the way, and it must stop. He's a product of negativity in society, in our politics. The political landscape has created this kid, and he's wasted his life. He might have had a great life. He might have cured cancer. Who knows what he could have done in the future, but he succumbed to the negativity. And I don't know about his parents. His parents haven't spoke out, but maybe they felt him too. I know I'm right there with my kids explaining everything that's going on, and if they have a problem, I'm right there and I got their back. Now, this kid was also teased, or not so much teased, but told that he couldn't be part of the rifle club or group or part of the school because of the fact that he was a bad aim, and it was dangerous that he was a bad aim. He was such a bad aim in this that he hit an entire different set of bleachers to kill someone. And my heart goes out to the family of that firefighter that lost his life. That's horrible. That's horrific. That's why this can never happen again. But I'm going to say, what's his motive? Maybe his motive was to show everybody else in the world that said he can't shoot, that he really can shoot. Maybe that's his motive. Maybe his motive is that he's driven by Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad for 8 years. That's probably part of his motive. But you know what? I think he thought he was going to get away with it, because if you're going to go into a kamikaze suicide mission such as this, which, by the way, any copycat is going to be taken down instantly from now on. And I'll explain that here in a minute. No copycat will ever get away with this, ever again in America. This set a new ground. This 20-year-old gave his life. If he gave his life for anything, it's so that no copycat will ever assassinate any political figure ever again. Secret Service is going to be ramped up times 10, and I'm going to talk about that. But with this kid here, he didn't leave a note. There's no idea why he did it just yet, but we probably won't find that out. So it's all going to be speculation, which is what I'm doing, is speculating, but I'm speculating on facts. I want to end on the Secret Service. Now, I've watched a lot of people's responses, and a lot of people do feel like the Secret Service failed in this situation. I don't, personally. There's a lot of reasons why. Now, they were set up on a rooftop back behind Donald Trump, and actually in some of the footage you can see Trump talking and them back there, and you can see them moving like they just saw the guy. So in real time, they get a lock on the guy about 6 seconds, maybe 12 seconds prior to the shooting. It's not like they locked on him 5 minutes before shooting. In just a few seconds, they got to make a decision whether they're going to end somebody's life. So one of the explanations is the fact that it's outside of their perimeter where they set up, that they thought it could have possibly been local police putting their sniper up there. But they're still looking close and investigating the situation before they fire. Now, when the shooter fired, these guys responded in seconds. It was like 3 shots, boom, 4 shots from them, over. Like, boom, 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 boom. It sounded like firecrackers, and at first some people thought it was firecrackers. Boom, boom, it's over. Here's the thing. Some people are saying that they were in on it, and that they were giving this kid enough time to off Trump, and then they were going to off him. They were going to basically Oswald him so he can't speak on who hired him. That's the theory on it. Now, I disagree with that 100%, and here's the reason why. These guys lived their whole life without ever seeing an assassination attempt on a U.S. president. And they've worked and they've trained for this moment, but they got to be in a little bit of shock and disbelief. And then there's one more thing. We live in such a wussy-pansy state. We live in such a ridiculous, litigious society. We went through 2020 where it was defund the police. There's so much negativity on people in their position, and they got to think twice now. They got to think 3 times. They shouldn't have to think twice. They shouldn't have to think a fraction of a millisecond. And guarantee you they never, ever will again. They won't think a fraction of a millisecond. If it looks like a threat, the threat is getting taken out instantly. There will never, ever be a copycat killer that makes it through this. No copycat is going to pull this off in any circumstance ever again. Not just these 2 specifically. Everybody, every sniper is watching this and learning from this, and it's going to be part of the training, and there's not going to be a 3-second delay. There's not going to be a half a second delay. It's going to be threat gone. From this point forward, 100% guaranteed. And I'm not ever going to slight these guys. They did their job. They did something they've never had to do in their entire career. This was absolutely horrible. This whole situation was horrible. But we, as a country, are going to be much stronger after this because of this. It happens every time. Every time there's a tragedy, the country becomes stronger. I wish we'd be more united. I understand the differences in policy. But I got to tell you that hopefully going forward, the rhetoric lowers. The negativity against Donald Trump for absolutely no reason whatsoever stops now.